Did you know a McLaren F1 travels 260 miles per hour?
Don't travel at that speed.
Okay, so now that we know that it goes 260 miles per hour, we know that our rate of change is going to be miles per hour. And this graph proves it right. So we have our y-axis, x-axis, and we have our number of hours and our number of miles. So we always have to count the 0 when it comes to a graph. So we have our 0, and because it's 0 hours, it equals 0 miles. So we know that 1 hour is going to equal to 260. That was our rate of change. And now we can see that the number of miles increases by 260. So we can determine that 1 hour equals 260, 2 hours equals 520. We can see that 3 hours equals 780, and so on and so forth. So now that we have dotted our graph will help us determine the table to find the slope. So now our graph will help us determine our table. So let's first start by putting our zeros. Zeros are very, very important, especially for the graph. Now we have 0 hours, so that will equal 0 miles because we're not driving anywhere. But we know that every per hour is going to be 260 miles. So if we increase our hours, our miles will increase as well. So 2 hours will be 520 miles, and then 3 hours will be 780. 4 hours will be 1,040 miles. 5 hours will be 1,300, and our final 6 hours will be 1,560 miles. So this will be our table, and our table will also help us find the formula. That's it. So now we can find the slope. Our formula will help us find the slope. And so I took 2 hours and 3 hours and 520 miles and 780 miles to put in the formula to get our slope. So if we move over here, I already wrote our formula. Our formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I used 2 as x1, 520 as y1, and 3 as x2, and 780 as y2. So now let's just put these numbers into our formula and we will hopefully get our slope. So if we put 780 minus 520 over 3 minus 2. Now, if you can't tell, we put our numbers into our formula. So if we subtract 780 minus 520, we will get 260. And if we subtract 3 minus 2, we will get 1. And that would be our slope. So now we can find our slope 3 different ways, using the graph, the table, or the formula. Personally, I feel like the formula would be way easier because you are less likely to make any mistakes and to get the right answer. So we concluded that 260 miles per hour is our slope. So till next time, bye. Okay, can we just, so, I fucking hate this. You want to do the outro?